Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the CGA show. Well, if you don't know the rules, take a look at the previous episodes. Yeah, you'll see. I mean, you'll probably see in the next few seconds anyways. But hi, welcome if this is your first time here. And for all of our returning viewers, let us know how you felt about the last three episodes. If you liked that sort of format. I don't think we gotten any comments yet on the episodes. I don't think so yet, right?
Nothing on the YouTube.
Not that I've seen on YouTube, no.
Okay, well, leave comments. We'd greatly appreciate that. Love to know your feedback. But if you're new here, welcome. My name is Drew. That's Noah over there. That's Dom down there. All three of us will be your hosts for this episode. But depending on what the spinny wheel says, one of us will start this episode. But before we do the spinny wheel part, we got to do the dicey roll part. So,
yay!
As you guys can see on the screen, well, not you guys, but the people watching and the people who are listening, too bad. So, we have 5 dices, 20 sides on each dice, and an individual here on the first episode that's 7. So, that was something. We might have to put that rule back in going forward.
This man hedges his bets.
He hedges his bets. So
hey, I'm just gaming the system, okay? I'm working within the rules.
That's fair. We didn't really establish concrete rules, and he took advantage of it. So, so you know what? You kind of like you're kind of like the CRA right now.
You know who I am? I'm Trump.
I'm a very stable genius.
That's what I am. I'm Trump in this situation. I'm using everything that's available to me.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. All right. I am going to start rolling the dicey dice. And you guys, if you have a number in mind, I can go first if you want, or unless you guys have one.
I'm going to go with my birthday and birth month, which is the 8th of August, so 88.
Okay. I was going to say 52.
I'm going to do the funny number, and I'm going to go 69.
Okay, nice.
Nice. All right. It is 29. So I would be the closest, right? Yeah, I'd be the closest.
52? Yes.
God damn it. I knew I should have gone higher.
It's not 2 in a row. It's
Yeah,
close.
exactly.
Not there.
It's close.
It's a rotation, full rotation.
All right, let's see what Spinny Spin gives me to talk about today. Please don't be anime. You son of a bitch.
The game is broken, EA Sports. The game is broken.
Okay. For context, people, I haven't been watching too much anime lately. If this was last year, I would be perfectly fine. But okay, all right, we got.
Okay.
Lo and behold,
I just considered a new rule.
What
should we all get at least one veto option that we can use at any time to rerun, say either on to rerun like a category?
No, it's not fun. That's not fun. I was gonna one time. No, because like I would use that right now, but like that's not fun.
Yeah, but then you can never use it again, though. That's the thing.
No.
If you get it again, you're like, you're stuck with it.
No. That's no fun. I'm gonna go straight off of fucking memory right now. Of the last anime that it's gonna be. I'm gonna butcher because I can't. Because I did One Piece last time. Yeah, I got anime
so you can't
the first time.
Yeah.
And I have a great game I want to talk about, and I have a great story I want to tell, but I couldn't get the other two. So this game is rigged.
EA Sports.
Even though I made it up. So I hate it. All right. You know what anime I'm gonna talk about? The last one I watched before One Piece, I watched Garo the Vanishing Line. So I'm going to talk about Garo the Vanishing Line. And I'm just trying to remember what the fuck happened.
Well,
Oh.
I've never seen it.
I don't think I've seen that
Dom has
one.
ever seen it. So
Okay, great.
enlighten us.
I'll give you
Yes.
I'll give you the plot line of a different anime I remember. So
Yeah.
there's a boy, right? He wants to become the leader of the ninjas, and he no, that's not Garo. I can't fool you.
Legit,
with
like
that.
we've never seen it, so like you can tell us that. And we're like, oh, that's cool.
Okay. No, Garo's basically so I don't know how long the series was going on for. It might be a older
Okay.
series, but they have many different iterations of it. So they got an anime version, they've got a live action version. I only watched. There's a YouTube series out right now for Garo, and it's free that you can watch. And I only watched the first episode, so I don't really know anything about it. But essentially, what Garo is, it's kind of like there's some Power Rangers elements. There's also this like kind of Warframe element to it as well. And Garo, the Garo itself is like this armor that these knights can summon. And so they
Oh,
What
so
are
it's
you
like
talking
kind of
about?
mecha.
Kind of
ki-
more Warframe, like what you said.
it is more like Warframe because it's like you have the operator, right? Somebody goes into the suit.
Yes, into the suit.
And so I don't know the whole Garo lore, so 100% I'm going to be wrong about this, but from what I got from Garo Vanishing Line was that uh, these are called Makai Knights, and not all of them can turn into like that Garo knight armor thing. So far in this show, at least, I've only seen two. There was the Golden Knight, and there was the Silver Knight. And the Silver Knight turned. He actually got mad with power, and for some reason he had this bloodthirst in him where he wanted to be the strongest knight, but he could never beat the Gold Knight. So at some point he got tainted and he turned into the Dark Knight. And so the Silver Knight mantle was still up for taking. Like nobody took it yet. But in this show, actually no, I can't even say because like we haven't got the spoilers yet.
Yeah, we got some Black Power Ranger and
basically.
You're like this is Power Rangers.
This is basically Power Rangers. That's probably why. Like I like listen. You all know why I love Lies of P because I love Bloodborne. So
yeah,
whatever matches with whatever else, I love it. So essentially, what happens at least in this series because there's a bunch of them. This one was produced by Mappa, by the way. Garo Vanishing Line. It's on Crunchyroll, or if you want to sail the 7 seas, you can.
High seas, yeah. It's on there too.
No comment, but it starts in this like fictional city in the US, and the characters are like your typical sort of anime characters. The female's got the big boobs and like she's all
bouncy?
like sexy and bouncy. Yeah, there's quite a bounce to her chest.
So they go for the fan service.
There's actually good fan service in this. Oh, by the way, this you guys might like this because I'm pretty sure this is rated R. So yeah, this is 100% rated R. At least to me, it is. Because the deaths,
concerning. Okay.
The death scenes in this brutal. The people that get killed, the types of people that get killed. Like I'm just like
hide your kids.
I'm like dude, we can't say that for YouTube. We can't say the K word and the C word, so that's getting redacted for YouTube reasons. We can't say that. Yes, but people get unalived in this show quite a bit. Okay, so essentially, there's also some like I got some Jujutsu Kaisen vibes from this because there are these. The whole point of these like this Power Ranger guy, the Golden Knight, right? And these other knights who don't transform, but they can use like magic and they have like specific abilities that are kind of cool. Is to fight these monsters called horrors, and the horrors are basically curses. Like that's essentially what they are.
Oh yeah,
right.
So like for example, and this isn't a spoiler at all because I'm pretty sure this is the second episode because the first episode was just showing off the guy's powers and whatnot. But in the second episode, I remember that there was a former Olympian who he became paralyzed, and his wife
Okay.
his wife is beautiful and she loves him, and
Mhm.
the problem is like he's got this huge ego because he used to be the number one Olympic star and all that stuff, and now he's paralyzed. He can't move. He feels useless. So
Right.
so he hears about this whole like you can make your dreams come true stuff from like some rumors and whatnot. And well, essentially, like I said about the whole Jujutsu Kaisen thing, the curses. Um, he essentially makes a deal with the devil. He makes a deal with a horror. Gets the horror to say like give me the power of my legs back, and
Mhm.
essentially what the horror does is they feed on us humans, right? So some horrors that are more primitive, they'll they'll just straight up eat you. But other horrors have like exquisite tastes. So what they like to do is they mess around with you, and they
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like they marinate you.
Marinate.
no, they do. They in a way they do.
I
Like
mean, they kind of are.
they
Yeah.
kind of do, because like it's like if a horror wanted to turn you into wanted to eat like a tandoori version of Noah, right?
Oh.
They might like go up to Noah and see like what he really wants, give it to him, and like no setbacks, nothing, and Noah thinks life is fine. Years go by, but then all of a sudden one day when everything's going perfectly, he doesn't expect it. That's when the horror comes in, eats his ass, right?
And
I'm in a Tandoor. Okay.
Yeah, and not in a sexual way. So so completely like just
Aw.
I know, just massacres you, right? And so in this episode, the horror takes over him. He gets access to his legs back. His ego's refueled. He's running around, but then he does the A Train thing where he like runs right through people and he kills them. And like I
okay.
said, the show it's gruesome. So yeah, like what happens after that is like this other Makai Knight who's one of the am I saying that right? Makai Knight? I don't even remember. But there's another one who I call the Sasuke character because he's like really cool and he's always in the shadows and
Killed my family.
yeah. Yeah. Except in this one, later on, spoilers, I'll let you guys know what happened. But his name's Luke, and he has these really cool powers because the first episode is about the main the Golden Knight guy. His name is Sword, and so he's just basically
What a name.
Yeah.
Fucking what a name.
yeah. He's if you see a picture of him, he looks like the biggest like manly man I've ever seen. Like I'm telling you, this is old school anime. Like guys are just buffed and like they look like straight out of like Dragon Ball Z, probably even actually they look like straight up Fist
like
of the North
JoJo?
Star. They
What
kind
about
of like JoJo actually,
characters?
yeah, like JoJo characters
The
and
buffest men around.
like
We
the
got Baki guys going around.
Bucky, yeah.
like basically, and then
specimens.
I'm 15 years old. I can lift a truck.
lift the world. Basically, is what's happening here. And then you have your cool characters are always like slim, like Legolas build, right? And then your sexy girl just busty.
They push up their glasses with their middle finger.
Except this guy doesn't have glasses. He looks like freaking what's that guy from Black Clover? Nozel. He's got like the silver hair. Also looks like that chick from Jujutsu Kaisen who I just call
the
female.
one with the, like it covers one
yeah,
eye.
Yeah. I call her female Nozel. So
isn't that the one that like sleeps with her younger brother?
Yeah,
it's kind of questionable.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
like that's
that one, that character.
Yeah, that one.
Mhm.
Yeah, her. So Luke's got this kind of like an ability that complements Sword because Sword goes around. He goes and he destroys all the monsters. He doesn't really follow any of the rules and regulations that the order of these knights have. Which is you have to discreetly get rid of the horrors, right? You have to make sure that nobody knows what's going on. And so he doesn't really do that. But what Luke does is he has this ability where he's the guy that he's like Luke is the gunslinger. And so one of his special abilities in his gun is that he can make the Fantastic Beasts rain, the one that makes you forget shit.
Yeah.
Except his one makes a lot more sense than the Fantastic Beasts one, because his one you just have to see it. You don't have to be in it.
Yeah.
So as long as you see it, even if you see it like on the news or whatever, you forget.
You forget about it.
Yeah.
Whereas the Fantastic Beasts one, you have to get hit by it. But
Yeah.
for some reason, everybody in the building
Just looking at this button right here.
yeah, exactly. So his ability really complements Sword's ability, and like most people who lose their memory just usually get deja vu, and other people are like, it's you're probably just misremembering anyways. But yeah, so that's kind of the first two episodes where we get introduced to these our two main guys, and then the third episode's where we get introduced to Gina, who's the sexy, beautiful character. She's the third knight, and essentially this is our trio. And Gina is like she's your typical like Black Widow type character. You know, she does all the assassinations. She can use. She's an alchemist, so she uses different types of like magical abilities. And yeah, she goes in, she kills horrors her own ways, but mostly Gina does this whole night business for money. So she makes a ton of money doing this, whereas the other two are they make money too, but like they don't just do it for the money. They get paid well, but Gina gets that OnlyFans money.
Bank.
She gets OnlyFans money. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
This is Noah's type of girl. That's Noah's girl.
This
man.
is she's kind of like this is kind of like Noah's type of girl, but yeah, actually it actually is, because like Gina sets up some like she sets up her own shit where she goes and she like saves the day and makes money. Like that's actually Noah stuff. So
perfect villain arc.
Yeah. But like all three characters, like you think they have something dark or whatever, like they might turn dark. No, they're actually, for the most part, and it's not even a spoiler, for the most part they're good characters. Like all three of them are messed up in their own ways, and the show goes into that, why they're messed up. So I do like why it does that, but I'll get to that in the spoiler section. And the whole premise of this show is that we meet this girl. Her name is Sophie in episode 1, and she's looking for her brother who just disappeared one day. And on his computer were the words El Dorado, and she basically put it together, El Dorado, right? So if you can tell, where this fictional city in the US is, it's close to New Mexico, right?
I imagined,
Yeah. So what happens is that Sword is also looking for El Dorado. So the way the two characters meet, where Sophie and Sword meet, is that Sword inadvertently saves her in the first episode, and when Sword is fighting his because he rides this cool motorcycle that transforms with him, and and his motorcycle can talk, because the motorcycle itself is
because why wouldn't it?
Well, the motorcycle is the armor. Is the armor itself. And the motorcycle is like talking to him as he's like fighting, and mentions El Dorado. I think it was the motorcycle that mentioned. See, this is why I'm going off of memory.
Yeah.
But like I remember in the fight, somebody mentions El Dorado, and Sophie's like, "Hey, I know that name." So my brother was kidnapped for those reasons, and then she basically tries to go with him, but he's like, "Yeah, it's a kid, right? Let's not involve kids in matters of horrors and curses and all that crap." So in the first few episodes, we start to get, while we get step by step towards figuring out what El Dorado is, it's tiny steps. It's just sort of showing the capabilities of each of the characters and some of the types of horrors that come about, right? There's a scene, and you guys probably saw it in Jujutsu Kaisen as well. I actually don't remember what came first, Jujutsu Kaisen or this, but there's a scene in the theater where a horror lives, and there's a scene in Jujutsu Kaisen where it's pretty much the same thing, where there's a curse living in the theater and like kills all those what was it, the high school students or something that went to go watch the movie.
Right. Yeah.
Same sort of thing here, but like we get a little bit of a background for Luke, where what the horror does is like it plays with your best memories, and it keeps you in this dreamlike state, and then it's basically feeding off of you slowly until it kills you. And so
Okay.
we get a little bit of his backstory before like he and Sword work together to kill the monster. But basically what happened was that um Luke was trying to become the Silver Knight, which his dad was the Silver Knight. And essentially his dad was really hard on him, so he, just like us three, had daddy issues. And
Had
has daddy issues. Sorry, my apologies. Oh, my bad. And then we sort of just leave it off there for now. So there's that intrigue, right? Now we're gonna start to get into spoilers. So for everyone who doesn't want to hear the spoilers or listen or watch the rest of this episode and see any of the scenes that pop up here for the spoilers, feel free to hop off, and we'll see you in the next episode. I'll give you guys a few seconds. Okay,
Bye.
Now spoilers. Well, we'll fix it in post. So what the whole point of El Dorado is kind of like what you think. Okay, El Dorado is supposed to be this place of gold, and it's supposed to be
city of gold.
right.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like this prosperous place, and there are certain even the regular people, like the civilians, know about El Dorado. So the Mackay Knights are like, how do they know about El Dorado? And so we start to hear people saying, hey, oh yeah, we can get better job opportunities at El Dorado. And then they piece it together and they find that El Dorado is an actual city. And it's a gated city, which requires special entrance into. And it's like it's government controlled and everything, right?
I just heard gated community. That's all I heard from that. Like,
it's a giant gated city. Like imagine if I don't know, Toronto was just had these giant like walls and stuff.
So just picture Cabbage Town and then go from there.
Right. Exactly. So, by the way, Cabbage Town. If anyone who lives in Toronto goes to Cabbage Town, you'll see just the disparity between rich and ghetto. It's crazy. It is crazy. But pretty much Cabbage Town here is the same thing. So they have this really poor city. I honestly think this city was supposed to represent like Las Vegas. And it's like El Dorado is supposed to represent Las Vegas. That's what it looks like to me. But like a more futuristic Las Vegas. And then the city outside of it once used to be like a prosperous town, and then it's now just a shit, very crap town. So now keep in mind, thank you. Yes, exactly. He said it. So
I'm not in the country. I can say this.
So when they get to this like made up city of Markham, they get there, and then they start trying to piece together like, why is this city so poor? What happened here, right? Now keep in mind, I've gone to pretty much towards the end of the series here, just because the middle parts it's a bit of a build up, and we get like character backstories. Not important. Plus the show would be too long if we did all that. So towards the when they get to this city, they start taking note of people who are getting let into El Dorado. They go on these buses, and people are very, they're very jovial, right? They're going to the best city. They're going to get the best pay, the best benefits, all that stuff. And then what's crazy is all three of the knights are looking at this, and they can't seem to figure out. They have this guttural feeling that something is wrong, but they can't figure out what's wrong. And keep in mind, these guys can sense where horrors are, or if something's been tainted by a horror. They can sense all that, and they can even see it, right? So when they're looking at this, they're trying to figure out, okay, what is wrong? Like there's something wrong here. But all of their suspicions are pretty much confirmed when they see the three characters they've been fighting. That's that's why we have three characters here, and then there's three foil
Right.
characters that they've been fighting, which are king. No, it's Queen, Knight, and I want to say it's Bishop.
Probably Bishop. Those are like the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're like, so basically like everyone's kind of like happy, but like there's obviously some shit going down.
There's
So it's basically like the whole "there's no war in Ba Sing Se" thing.
There's no war in
Yeah.
Ba Sing Se. Yeah, there's no war in Ba Sing Se except
There's no
except
war.
not as wholesome as that show. So much more mess. This show is really I think you guys will love it because this show is messed up.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Oh, you love that. You love how like you would love it. It's fucked up. You
it is.
love
It
Yeah,
is so
you'll love
fucking.
it.
You guys will love it. You guys love dark stuff, and this is like just up that alley. This is straight up
Okay.
the asshole type dark. So,
I just
they-
pictured it.
so
Crawling through like a little
Pretty
worm.
dark up there. Yeah.
it's pretty dark, up there, isn't it? And that's how dark the show is. 10 out of 10. Wait, I can't say that right now, but would recommend it. So they noticed that the three characters they've been kind of fighting have, well, I forgot which one of them goes back to El Dorado, but they can basically sense their presence. So they're like, okay,
Mhm.
definitely shit's going down here. Because like all three of these characters they've been fighting are super powerful. So
Yeah.
Knight is obviously Luke's father, and he's the Dark
Mhm.
Knight. Bishop has the most messed up abilities out of anybody. He can essentially just create. He's basically if Itachi and the Joker melded, and like if Itachi had the mind of the Joker, and he just had his genjutsu on everybody at all times. That's basically what
Okay.
Bishop is, and so Bishop is probably one of the most scary like just anime characters I've ever seen. Like I'm genuinely being
Oh,
honest, he's one
wow.
of the scariest because he gives no shits, and he's very like whimsical, but like keep in mind he's a horror. He
Yeah.
doesn't give two craps about human. Like he eats us. So
Yeah.
but like his abilities are crazy. And there's one scene that still sticks out to me is that they went to this one town that used to be very prosperous on their
Mhm.
way to El Dorado. This is not the same town I was just talking about. The
Right.
different one where they go through it, where there's still some resistance fighters there. And these resistance people have been fighting horrors. And they're not even like knights or anything like that. And
Right.
so what happens is that these resistance fighters, the only reason they're still alive is that they also get paid by horrors too. So the horrors basically say we're not going to eat you
Okay.
if you can supply us with a few things. And what do you think horrors
Okay.
want?
Obviously, they want people.
They want people
People.
to eat,
Of
right?
course, yes.
So they sort of survive off of this, but at the same time they don't like the horrors, so the ones they can kill they will. But
Mhm.
so the biggest fish come through town. So Sophie
Mm.
is wanted by the king. So the king of all
Mhm.
the king of all horrors wants Sophie for some reason, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
so it basically says kill the other three, bring the girl, right? And these
Mhm.
and basically the townspeople try to do that. They fail to do it. Well, actually, they got very close, but they fail to do it, and then they realize, like after, essentially, like they realize how powerful Luke was. I think Luke was doing something else during this time because he joins them
Yeah.
back towards the end, but
Mm.
they realize how powerful Gina and even Sword is. Like his whole
Mhm.
his Warframe knight armor thing. He's literally called the strongest knight in existence. So and
Yeah.
he is. And so they realize, okay, maybe we can fight the horror if we have this guy, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool, yeah, let's all fight the horrors. Within a snap of a finger, the whole town blows up,
Ah.
and it's Bishop. Bishop's just like, well, you guys are useless to me. I'm just gonna kill all of you.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Mhm.
And that's how this show. And that's how this show is. It's just like, yeah.
Like, nuke 'em.
So
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, you double like it's that whole thing. Like the horrors are super powerful, and they're quite literally they have a use. And if once you became useless,
Mhm.
see ya, right? It's
Yeah.
and the show doesn't hold back on this concept. Throughout the entirety of the show, this concept's there. That's why I don't want to talk about the other parts of the show because there's a lot of scenes like this. There's a gas station scene which I really liked. It's like a gas station and a motel scene that happened earlier. I won't go into it, but it's a
They
great
have
scene.
the frappuccinos and someone lights a cigarette. Yeah.
It's kind of, and it's a more wholesome. Actually, I can't even say it's more wholesome. So
Is it more wholesome than that? I don't know.
You know what? You need to find out for yourself. Anyways,
Yeah.
going back to Bishop. So he does his little fuckery. We still haven't seen like Queen fight yet. We know that Knight can really fight because he's
Yeah.
quite literally as strong as our Garo guy here, and we've never seen King yet. So we get to we finally get all the way to El Dorado. They basically decide that okay, we're just gonna go into the city, follow the bus, go through to the city. They get into the city, a bunch of shit happens. Sophie gets taken, obviously, because every show needs to get towards its end somehow. And we find out that King is her brother. So and there's a concept they introduced way back early in the show when Gina was trying to swindle some money out of this rich person that she fully realized had a horror, and and she was using horrors using this ring to control horrors. But we came to find out that ring was a fake. The actual ring to control all horrors was held by Sophie's brother, the king of all horrors. And now, why was Sophie's brother taken by whoever took him in the beginning? Well, the horrors that took him in the beginning, the horrors that are masking as humans because they can possess you, and they took him because what they did was they were taking the most intelligent like code software engineers, developers out there, and what they wanted to do, the actual king of horrors, so not her brother, the actual king of horrors wanted to create this living utopia for humans, basically a simulation where they have their best lives lived and the horrors can feed off of them infinitely. And that's what they wanted to create. And so
the Matrix.
I was about to say
essentially the Matrix. Essentially the Matrix. And so what they did was they took this really talented boy. I think her brother's name was Martin. Yeah, Martin Hens or Hennies. I forget their last name. But
Hennessy, okay.
Hennessy, yeah, probably.
Hennessy.
So they take they take him, and he's like he's just going along with all this, right? He thinks he's actually doing this coding job. So and then they do it they do it in a very natural way. Queen basically recognizes his talent, gives him like promotions here and there, and then eventually makes him
we'd like to offer you an internship.
yeah and then eventually he works his way up to becoming CEO in like 5 years or 6 years. And so he's like he thinks none the wiser because he works really hard and all that stuff. And so the CEO gets this ring. It's a commemorative ring, and he doesn't think anything of it except it's a ring that controls all the fucking horrors and all. and the ring is also possessed, just like every ring is everywhere, by the king of all horrors. And the king of all horrors, he has an interesting design, but like he just reminds me of an Evangelion character. So I suppose I've seen it already. And the king of all horrors, his plan is kind of obvious. Martin doesn't really see it, and Sophie basically does a big brain play and say, hey, look at me. I should be like, I think 16 or 17 years old right now, but look at me right now. I look 10. How come I'm 10? Think about it. Why am I 10 years old? This is a simulation. Wake up, right? So like after some logical tests, he realized, oh, whoops, and whoopsies. And the king of horrors is like, yeah, bro, listen, it's too late. You've already given your soul to the company. So by your soul, I mean like literally your soul. So they give him like, she could easily end all this just by killing her brother. So the king of horrors loves this situation. So the king of horrors is like, yeah, kill your brother. Go ahead. You can end all this. Kill him.
I dare you. Do it.
Yeah, you've been looking for him for like your whole life. Kill him. Here's a knife too. Do it.
That's
So
such a power play.
it is a
Yeah.
power play, but she almost did. She almost actually
No.
she actually did stab him, but like because she was shaking, she missed her target, and then she,
Just any vital organs.
right, and then she realized that she did that, and he woke up and he started struggling, and then she tried to strangle him. But it's a dark scene. It's a very dark scene. Like she doesn't want to kill him, but she realizes like, hey, it's you or the rest of humanity. So
Mm.
so that I like this is why I kind of like the show for its sort of realness aspect.
Yeah.
But then obviously the show ends with like a giant fight, as all shows should. And
Yes.
and the Golden Knight shows you really how powerful he is by essentially literally sacrificing his cool motorcycle. That I've never been attached to a motorcycle before in my life, but I really like this motorcycle. And he essentially for one last move, he has to fuse with it completely one last time
Mhm.
to destroy the King of Horrors, and unfortunately he still can't get out because the 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 exit gets completely shut off by the Dark Knight, because he's like, hey, we're gonna fight you and I right here. We're one of technically we're both gonna die because the exit's gone. So, but let's see who dies first, and that's the winner, right?
Mhm.
Or that's the loser. Sorry. So they fight, and then the Dark Knight finally gets defeated. Finally at the end, because he was a cunt throughout this whole show. Like I hated him. I
Yeah,
legitimately
yeah.
hated him. He's since we're in the spoiler section, I can say it now. He killed his wife, so Luke's mother. He almost
Yeah.
killed his own son, Luke, and but he basically looked at him while burning down their house after killing his mother. Looked at him and said, "Get stronger and try to kill me," and left. Like as most dads do,
Yeah.
right?
That's
So
most
yeah.
dads do.
and so Luke, this is the one thing I didn't like about the show. Luke never got strong enough to actually kill him. So at the end of
Ugh.
at the end of it, it was always the Golden Knight that actually killed him. But at the very least, the final fight he had with his son, he did enough damage to the Dark Knight that kind of hindered him in the fight with the Golden Knight. So so he did acknowledge his son for that aspect, because he says something that the viewers can easily tell, like bro, you don't have the facilities for that. Like you can't you're a gunslinger against like this super powerful
What are
fucking
you
knight.
doing?
Yeah, what are you doing, right? And so basically Luke like in my head I'm like, Luke, buddy, the only thing you can do is blow yourself up.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what he does. So
Yeah.
so
Okay.
so Luke don't worry, he survives somehow. But I really like the end, because Sword asked Luke to keep a promise for him way back in the beginning of the show, and I completely forgot he asked it. And then the end of the show, he went through with that promise. When all said's done, El Dorado's destroyed. They're all going back to their original city, and Sophie basically says, "Oh, I want to train to be a knight just like you guys." All of a sudden, she's like, "Luke, where's Luke?" Right? She turns around, she sees Luke. Luke is pointing his gun at the sky, and he starts making it rain, and that's how it ends. So remember that.
Okay.
So then basically the last few seconds of the show shows that like Sophie runs into Sword and Luke and all that stuff, and Sophie's like oh, sorry, I didn't see you there, mister, sort of thing. Yeah. It was a pretty like sad kind of ending in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of cool, because it's just like Sword was like, okay, we're just gonna find her brother, but we don't want her to get into this knight business, because all the stuff that I kind of skipped over, they show you how to become a knight, and it's an arduous process, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't want that for her, and it's funny because like all three of the characters started really taking Sophie in as like a family member. And they didn't want to see her get hurt. So I love that scene where she turns around and she looks at Luke, and Luke just pointing his gun at the sky and uses his forget me now move. So
Yeah.
and then they don't say another word. That's it.
Yeah.
And then the last few seconds of the show where like they're doing the end credit scenes, you see her kind of running into the characters again, not knowing who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor little Sophie. She has no idea.
And here's the thing, it'll actually tear at both of your hearts because like she goes on this great adventure with the three.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like builds this bond with them, and that's how like they did what she asked them to do, one thing, which was find her brother, and they did. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
so as knights always do, they keep their word.
Mission accomplished. Yeah.
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 Hmm.
But have I
Interesting,
convinced you guys to watch it?
You know, I think I may have watched part of that series, just not that particular arc.
Yeah, there's
'Cause I think
there's two
there's
of them
different
before this.
versions, right? Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
there-
the one that I remember watching was more of a medieval type.
Yes, that's
one.
I think that's the first one.
Maybe,
this is
yeah.
the last one.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, because it's kind of similar to like Fate in that respect, where you've got
Yes,
the same
yes.
concept but different like time frames when it's happening, right?
Yeah.
So I think I've seen parts of it. I didn't finish that first season that I watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for sure I would watch it because I remember watching that and getting into it, but just so many other animes were on at the same time that I was watching, so I
Yeah.
kind of fell off on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I remember watching it and actually enjoying it. So I
Mm.
would definitely check that one out, especially with this new modern one that has a more modern city. I like
Mhm.
modern vibes
Yeah.
more so than like the old medieval vibe type things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd definitely check it out
Okay.
for sure.
Noah?
Yeah, like when you were saying things about the show, it's just like you can tell there's a lot of influences from things. Like for instance, all the characters they're named off of the pieces of shogi.
Yes,
Like
they
that,
are.
That's pretty
Yes,
cool.
yes.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm like, okay.
And there's a bunch of other
And-
characters I didn't name, and you'll if you
Yeah,
see it,
you'll
you'll
see
see
it.
Yeah,
you'll see
yeah.
that more.
So
Yeah.
it already just by that it's like a very strategic type of show. Like
Mhm.
things are happening, and all these like there's probably pawns that go bad and then go to the other side and stuff.
Mhm.
Like it's just there. It has the interesting concept that makes me want to know what is in between all the things that you said.
Mm.
Like, how long is the show? Is it like 12 episode, 24?
24, that's it.
I think they're 24
24.
ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's made
Good
by
size.
It's made by Mappa, so the animation is clean.
Good
You know it's
animation,
clean, it's
okay.
crisp.
Yeah.
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 Anything
Yeah.
from Mappa is pretty much
Yeah.
done deal. Good.
Yeah. So if for nothing else, I'll watch it for the fight scenes.
Yes.
Fight scenes are good. Yeah.
Yes.
I think you'll also like some of the more like sort of like sadistic humor in it as well.
Yeah.
It's
Like when you said Bishop is the most evil anime character you've ever seen,
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you beat Johan from Monster?
see
So
I've still got to watch Monster. That's on my playlist
I haven't
to watch.
finished Monster. I haven't completely finished Monster yet. But Johan
Yeah.
might actually be number one by the time I finish it. But
Okay.
from just because I finished this one, I hated Bishop.
Okay, so I'm interested in seeing that
See
as well.
how much
So,
worse he can be, if possible.
I'm convinced to watch it, at least to try out the first 3 episodes. If I'm hooked after that, then okay, I'll give it a go. But I'll preview the first 3.
Okay.
So you said Queen, you never get to see Queen fight in that series?
No. We do like towards the end because Queen is King's assistant. So, but like she's also the strongest out of all of them.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because Queen generally is
Yeah.
the strongest piece on the
Like-
board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you said that this is a really dark show, I don't know why, but I just thought back to that unfinished masterpiece UQ holder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. UQ holder. I wish. I think they're planned to go back to it because there's a bunch that are starting to filter through. Like Hitman
Mhm.
Reborn is probably going to get a remaster. UQ holder, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so it gave me that, like, when you were saying all of that, it's like that type of vibe of dark with that, like, whole adventure theme.
Mm.
I'm like, okay,
Mm.
I can see where it is. And, like, yeah, I was quippy throughout all of this, but
Yeah.
I can definitely see the interest in it. And
Mm.
I'm definitely interested to see if it's better than Crunchyroll's first exclusive, Fena. So,
Oh. if I get picked again for anime, that's the one I'm talking about. I swear to God, Wheel. If you give me another anime, I'm gonna talk about the one I hate the most, and it's gonna be just me saying fuck so many times and a lot of expletives, and it's gonna be the shortest episode we do. It'll be like 10 minutes, and I don't even want your opinions.
No,
He's like,
give you
I'm
the-
done. It's just a rant.
Yeah,
That's all I
just a
came
rant.
for.
Moving on. No, it's
I would check it out. Like, so what would you give it on a rating?
So with our scale,
The
the
logarithmic scale, yeah.
a logarithmic scale, I would give it. I would say it's a 6.5. It's
Okay.
it's certainly it's one of those ones I could rewatch 100%, but
Mm.
with some time in between it.
Mm.
And it's honestly, it's not as deep, I would say, but then again, I'm going based
Yeah.
off memory, so it could probably be more deep
Yeah.
than I actually remember it. But I just think that the episodes flow really nicely, and on top of which they're
Mhm.
24 episodes, they're short.
Yeah.
And music is kick ass. Like, it's one of the best
Okay.
rock musics that rock
Ooh.
soundtracks I've seen. Like, this is a very like
It's
metal based
Yeah.
like show. I love it. Like, I was bopping out to it. I was like, yeah, I like this.
Nice. Okay.
Mm.
Add some music to the workout playlist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
And so yeah, it's I would definitely suggest people to watch it, because I skipped over so many things, like the meat and potatoes in the middle of it, like explaining world building, lore, and all that stuff. We don't have time to go through all that, so
No.
it's definitely a must watch for me, at
Okay.
least.
Mhm.
Okay.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode. Hopefully I don't get anime again, otherwise it's Found the Pirate Princess. And and yeah, well, see you in the next one. Bye.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.